By far, and probably one of the most controversial subjects of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, all has to do with the death of Luke Skywalker, portrayed by Mark Hamill, that was all initiated by writer and director Rian Johnson for The Last Jedi. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that this movie really was the foundation to create new Star Wars lore. However, a lot of fans out there had many different issues with The Last Jedi. In fact, it was the actual film that caused the great divide between the Star Wars community. It really divided the fans, there's no doubt about that. And at the very beginning, it seemed like Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, was completely just ignoring that fact and just kind of blaming everything on, Star Wars fatigue when it came to the soloist Star Wars story, box office results, and everything related to it in that sense. Now, when we look at the character of Luke Skywalker, we can see that J.J. Abrams made an attempt in order to fix the philosophy that Luke has in the sequels. Though he was a Force ghost, we can see that there were some nods to Rian Johnson's take on The Last Jedi, such as when Luke Skywalker catches the saber and says, "A Jedi's weapon deserves much better respect," or something around those lines, right? That was pretty much a nice little nod to what Rian did wrong with, of course, The Last Jedi and the character of Luke. But by far, one thing that a lot of fans seem to be divided over is, of course, the death of Luke Skywalker. And what Disney and Lucasfilm have planned for their new Star Wars universe could very well be quite exciting to a handful of Star Wars fans out there. Now, what's really intriguing is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are currently finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are focused on their new Star Wars universe, also known as the new Expanded Universe, for the Star Wars community that will bring Star Wars fans into a new era of the Star Wars franchise. Now, it's noted that currently Lucasfilm has a plan in place for their new Star Wars universe to reset many aspects of The Last Jedi as a film in their new EU, and that one of the big plans that they are currently having to do is to restart the death of Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars franchise, and that they are going to retell Luke's death in their new Star Wars universe. Now, it's noted that many surprising revelations will be added to Luke's death that is going to make it more acceptable to some of the hardcore fans around the world who are not impressed with Rian Johnson's take on Luke's death. It's said that this decision is a strategy by Lucasfilm to reunite the Star Wars fandom that became divided after The Last Jedi, and that this is going to be their attempt at treating the character of Luke Skywalker in a more respectful manner for the Star Wars fans around the world. Now, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy will not be involved in the new Star Wars universe, as she will no longer have any creative control over the future Star Wars projects, where it's explained that also the ending of The Last Jedi will be retold as well in their new Star Wars universe that is set to drop sometime in 2021 for the fans to witness, and what Disney has to offer in order to change their ways with the franchise in general. The reset of Luke's death is going to be told visually in a graphic novel and in the form of a book that is currently being worked on by Lucasfilm. So, to me, I think that this is going to be a pretty, odd way of really fixing aspects of Luke's demise in the sequel trilogy, because not a lot of fans out there actually read the books, the novels, and the comics. I mean, yes, a lot of fans do, but they're mostly hardcore fans, and there are a group of Star Wars fans that are more so dedicated to this franchise. But in general, a lot of Star Wars fans, or people that just like the Star Wars movies, don't generally read the books religiously, right? They don't read every single book, every single comic. They don't know the lore to a T. And that's exactly what Lucasfilm and Disney are trying to do, from what it seems. It seems like that this is their incentive of bringing the fans into the Star Wars universe to actually read these books and these novels. Now, the thing that I feel that a lot of fans will feel betrayed over is the fact that they have to buy these books and these novels to actually get a better understanding of how they're going to retell Luke's death and how they're going to restart that in The Last Jedi. That's going to actually change our view of the movie once we go ahead and watch it. So, like I say, many of this has been done before with other franchises out there in the past, and it seems like Disney is trying to do the same exact thing here with the sequel trilogy era of Star Wars, and it really is something that I think a lot of fans are really going to have mixed opinions over. I myself included. I think what they really should have done is that they could have actually retold this by maybe, adding some new, visuals or audio aspects of the scene to kind of give us a better sense of what's really going on while Luke Skywalker is dying on Ahch-To. Now, they could have done something like that if they really wanted to. So, this new Star Wars universe, like I say, it is risky, and at the same exact time, is it really going to reach out to every single Star Wars fan out there? Not necessarily. I think that they're going to have to rely on, a lot of content creators that are going to talk about this once it arrives next year, as well as other friends of theirs or family that pick up these books and these novels in order to get the scoop on that. So when we look at everything related to Star Wars, like I say, Disney, they're trying their very best in order to reunite the fan base. Seems like that they're very desperate at this point in doing so, and hopefully things will look brighter as we go throughout this decade. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon we hear their moans again.